really exciting because we made this discovery about 2 years ago. We have 42 holes into it over 2.6 kilometers. And as we push eastwards, northeastwards, we're finding more and more massive sulphide, really rich. Actually, a couple of days ago, we announced 8.7 meters of very solid and very rich massive sulphide, running about 24% zinc and lead and 85 grams. So really phenomenal stuff.
Welcome to those tuning in to the Assay TV, where today I'm joined by Bart Jaworski, the CEO and Director of Group 11 Resources. Welcome.
Thanks, Katie.
So just for our viewers which might not be familiar with the company, can you just give us a brief overview of some projects and the background?
Sure. So we've made a fairly significant discovery in Ireland. It's actually the most significant discovery in Ireland over the last 10 years or so. And we've made it about 20 kilometers away from Glencore's Palace Green deposit, which is one of the largest undeveloped zinc deposits in the world. It's about 45 million tons of 8.4%. We are Glencore owned, and Glencore has a director on our board. And we're also owned by Mike Gentile, who's our second largest shareholder. And he's also just stepped onto the board recently.
Okay, so before we get into the details of your projects, you've had some great new additions to the team. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So Glencore's actually had a director on our board for about 4 years, but Glencore's just added a new director. So Ken Klassen was our recent director. Now Gaitlin Smigers has just joined us. And what's interesting about Gaitlin actually is not only is he a lawyer, but he's also a geological engineer. So he brings a new perspective to the board. Mike Gentile, as I mentioned already, he's now recently joined the board. And he's obviously a portfolio manager, so he's got a lot of capital markets experience, a big following, very articulate guy. Is actually great for the company. And already in the company sort of fills out the skill set, but we have obviously a couple of geologists, myself and Dan. We have a lawyer, we have an accountant, and now we have this mix of geological engineering as well. So we have all the boxes covered, yeah.
Excellent. So let's zoom in on your projects, particularly PG West project. The Ballywire discovery's had lots of great results recently. Mm-hmm. It's actually suggesting the identification of a massive sulphide zone. Mm-hmm. Talk us through that. Tell us some of the numbers.
Well, it's really exciting because we made this discovery about 2 years ago. We have 42 holes into it over 2.6 kilometers. And as we push eastwards, northeastwards, we're finding more and more massive sulphide, really rich. And actually, a couple of days ago, we announced 8.7 meters of very solid and very rich massive sulphide, running about 24% zinc and lead and 85 grams. So really phenomenal stuff. Only 200 meters deep starting, and it's really a zone that seems to be blossoming as we move towards the northeast. So we already have 360 meters in terms of strike and about 150 meters down dip extent. And again, that's part of a 2.6 kilometer zone where we've had consistent pierce points of really robust mineralization, and that's along a trend of 6 kilometers where we have 4 gravity anomalies along the target horizon, and we're just really working on one of the 4 gravity anomalies so far. So there's a lot of wingspan there for us to extend into.
It just seemed like the drill rigs will continue to turn beyond 2024 following some successful financing. I mean, you've just briefly touched upon it, but what will drilling in 2025 look like?
Yeah, so we had a financing last Christmas we raised $3 million, and then this year we had warrants that came in for another 1.5, so that really kept us well financed and well capitalized for this year. For a steady drill program, we've had basically 2 rigs going at Ballywire all this year. And we have 1 rig that just started up a few months ago on Carrickittle West. So we plan to finish the Carrickittle West work by the end of the year. And then to your question, in 2025, I think we have a lot of runway to do a lot of similarly aggressive work on Ballywire in terms of at least 2 drill rigs and hopefully more. We'll see what happens. But certainly a lot of work for us to do on Ballywire over the next 12 months for sure. And certainly whether that accelerates or not remains to be seen, but certainly a lot of work for us to do there.
We've just briefly brushed upon Carrickittle West. What's actually happening there drill-wise?
Yeah, so this is a lookalike to Glencore's Palace Green deposit. It looks like the other half of the system, potentially. That's what we're hoping for. Glencore's Palace Green system is 45 million tons, basically at 8.4%. It's a really, really big deposit at a pretty decent grade, and it's on the northern side of the circular sort of oval volcanic feature. We have the other half, the southern half of it is on our ground. The northern half is on their ground, but the geology is identical, essentially, and we have a lot of faulting on our side. So we actually have some really interesting ingredients, but the difference is the north side has been very well explored, whereas the south side has been relatively untouched. So we're about to start drilling that right now. We did a bit of initial drilling there 2 years ago, found some really interesting elements to it, and we're about to follow that up right now. So fingers crossed, but it's a
guys
big,
are busy.
big potential.
You guys are very busy. Just in the broader sense, how do you find operating in Ireland? Obviously, it's actually quite rare to hear of a project in Ireland at 121, so it'd be great to hear some
Yeah, we're unique in that respect,
Yeah.
but there has been a 60-year modern mining history in Ireland. So 6 prospects in Ireland over the last 60 years have turned into discoveries, which then turned into mines, and a lot of them have been mined out. We're down to one active mine in Ireland right now, the Tara deposit, which is mined by Bleedon. So, but there is a whole community of geologists and mining engineers and accountants and lawyers, et cetera, around that. And the geology is still very, very prospective. And case in point, our Ballywire discovery is just in the early innings here and has a lot of promise. So I think there's a lot more to go there.
Well, we've had a lot of info there. So just to round things up, can you highlight the major milestones that you're looking to achieve in the next few months?
So two rigs running at Ballywire. So investors should look out for news on that through to the end of the year and beyond, well into 2025. And obviously we're going to finish up, we've recently started, and we're going to finish up by Christmas, the 1-rig program at Carrickittle West. So we should have that results, as in due course. And then obviously beyond the year, we have a lot of targets at Ballywire, which we need to further explore. So a long strike, up and down dip, and then deeper, looking for a copper horizon potentially.
Excellent. Well, it's been a pleasure, Bart. Thank you for taking a minute to chat to us, and I'll let you get back to your meetings.
Super. Thanks, Katie. Appreciate it.